page 166. So as we're doing the book of Vayikra, the Parsha of Vayikra, which is the Parsha and the book of Vayikra. A lot of it talks about the karbonis, the offerings in the temple, which is, we don't do today with lack of a temple. And it's hard for us to appreciate to our modern sensibilities. But the general concept is, it's about giving of self, different aspects of self. So today we talked about if someone gives a free will offering, a voluntary offering of a bird. Mammals allude to those among us whose animal nature is relatively pronounced. Fowl, because they can fly, allude to those of us who are less earthbound, who live a more intellectual life and can therefore fly above a purely animal existence. Nevertheless, so symbolically, animals represent very earthy people, like animal soul people, You're more into taking care of your physical needs. A bird flies, so it's still an animal. It's still not a, divine soul, but represents your intellectual soul, because the mind soars. It's still tethered. It's part of the person, the physical person, but the mind is the lofty part. Nonetheless, just as fowl need to periodically rest from flight, human intellect is limited by nature. Therefore, fowl, like mammals, are used as sacrifices, since both our animal natures and our intellects need to be spiritually refined and uplifted. In contrast, fish, which must remain constantly in water, allude to those of us who have so refined themselves that they remain always connected to God, swimming constantly in divine consciousness. Since the divine side of our personality does not need the elevation the animal side does, fish are not used for sacrifices. So this is fascinating, just a spiritual insight. There's a letter from the Rabbi. Animal represents the earthy part of yourself, the physical need part. The bird represents the mind. The fish is a creature, but fish are always connected. They're like submerged in their life source, in the water. So it represents the divine soul, which is never really detached. It's always really within God or feeling connected to God. But since doesn't need elevation, that part. Today's Tanya. Oh my gosh! Yesterday's Tanya. Close enough. Government work. Yesterday we said the whole reason God makes the person is not for the sake of the soul, because it doesn't need elevation. The soul. And what's the divine soul? That'd be fish. That's why you can't bring fish to the altar. What needs to be elevated? The animal soul. And even perhaps the bird, the intellect part of the animal soul. So that's why there's no fish on the altar. Hashem didn't like salmon.